Hi there, Psycho Camp here again. I want to talk a little bit today about a new addition to my gun cabinet or my home defense arsenal. And this is, I recently picked up a Maverick 88 at my local gun shop. I got a pretty good deal on it, and I got the one that has a 20-inch barrel, but it also comes with a field barrel, so if I wanted to use it for hunting or that kind of thing, it's no problem. And I picked up a plug in case I want to use it for bird hunting. But one of the things as far as the home is concerned is, it only holds 5 rounds unless you want to put one in the chamber all the time, in which case it holds 6. And I really, since they're kind of hard to handle, shotgun shells kind of handle and all that, I thought it would be a good idea to put a shell holder on it. Now, normally, I would use one of those inexpensive wraparound, either made out of nylon or rubber with the little pockets in it. But that's not really what I was looking for this time. I was looking for something a little bit more rugged, something I didn't have to worry about falling off. I've also seen a lot of them where they have like a big Velcro strip that goes on the side of the gun. Boy, that didn't make a lot of sense to me, especially gunking up your gun with stuff like that. So I decided to try to find one that mounts a little more permanently. And the one I finally decided on is this one from Tac Star. Now I'm told, even though this is listed as a Mossberg 500/590/590DA, that this should fit. And it was an opportunity for me to support my local gun store. I looked these online, and the best I could do online was about $28, $29. And for the $4, I was certainly willing to go to my local gun store, especially since if this doesn't work out, I know I can return it. So basically, we're going to mount this on the gun, and I'm going to tell you what I think about it. Okay, so I put this whole thing together and then realized I didn't have my camera turned on. So I took it all apart, and I'm going to do it again just for you guys. So this is basically the stuff that comes out. This is a little bag, and all of these parts and these two tools, these two Allen wrenches, came in this little bag. So here are the instructions. There's 2 different sets of instructions. One if you're using a Win SX3, or another one if you're using a Mossberg, because this apparently will fit both. And they have actually additional instructions for different guns. Win 1200, a Remington 870, 11 or 1187, a Benelli M4, or a Stoeger 2000, or a Benelli M1 or N2. So apparently this thing fits a bunch of different guns. There are different check marks over here on the side depending on which one you get. So this particular one is item number 1081159 for those of you that are interested. Okay, so one of the things you do have to be aware of is there's a fore-end advisory on this gun, on this shell holder, and basically what it says is if your fore-end actually comes back and covers the receiver, right? So if it's a field fore-end and it actually comes all the way back and covers the receiver, then this 6-position unit will interfere with it. It won't come all the way back, and it will not be able to run the gun. And they suggest either going to a 4-position shell holder, which will fit, or taking off the fore-end and replacing it with a different fore-end. And they list a couple of them that'll work from either Tac Star or Pachmayr. So that's one thing to worry about. I don't have to worry about that because this gun has a standard tactical fore-end on it. So what you do in order to do this is you bring the gun to the open position, and inside, on the opposite side of the ejector, right in here, there is a screw, and we're going to remove that screw. And you're going to replace it with a longer screw that comes in the kit. Pardon my head here for a minute while I look inside there. Pilot this. And you take this in nice and snug. Okay. After that screw has been replaced, you take this longer screw and we're going to use it to push out this pin. Okay? And we're going to actually leave the bolt in afterwards, so we'll just push it all the way through. And the pin just fell out on the floor. Okay, so there's the old parts, there's the pin and the screw, and you shove that through. Now we're going to turn this over, And when this comes in the package, they use a couple of the screws. There's 6 screws in this plate that hold this shell holder on here, on this metal plate, the plastic shell holder on a metal plate. So they usually put 2 of them in here during shipping, and the rest of them are in the bag. So there's 6 of them here because I've already removed them. And then what you're going to do is you're going to position this plate on the 2 screw heads that are sticking out. Okay, so there's a screw head sticking out here now, and a screw head sticking out here now. And we're going to position the shell holder on this screw head. And this plate has 2 different positions in the front, depending on which gun you have. So there'll be 2 different positions, see? And you'll use the rearmost one or the forward one, depending on which gun you have. Okay? Now, this hole is a tapped hole, and what we're going to do is we're going to use the larger Allen screw, and we're going to screw this bolt into there. Now, what they suggest to you is do not over tighten this. Put it on, but don't over tighten it. So we're just going to put it in snug, but not too much, because you can actually belly the receiver and the gun won't cycle. So just put it in snug, but not real tight, not super tight. And then in the kit, you also get this washer and this nut. Now the washer is not used, that must be for a different gun type, so put that away. But there's this little small nut, and we're going to put this nut on here. Now what I would do is if you have a nut driver, I would use the nut driver and put this on good and tight. I'm just going to set it on there for now. In fact, I'm going to do a horrible thing. You know, you real gun people out there, don't look. I'm just going to use my, since they give you plenty of room here, I'm going to use my Super Doodle universal tool and tighten that up. Okay? So now we have the plate attached to the side of the gun, and what we're going to do now is attach this the actual plastic shell holder. You'll notice it's not flat, you know, it kind of bowed out a little bit. That makes it a bitch to put on. I found this out the first time. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to start it at the back. Actually, what I ought to do is start it in the middle and then do both sides, because that's what I found out the last time. It didn't fit right otherwise. So I'm going to pre-start one of these screws on this wrench, on this Allen key I mean, and we'll start that. But I'm not going to tighten them up, because I found out before you do need to leave a little wiggle room here. Even though these are tapered holes, they don't exactly line up perfect every time. So you're better off just taking them a couple of twists and then leaving it loose the rest of the way. So, because you need a little bit of wiggle room to make sure you can pilot all of these in here. And like I said, I found out since it's bowed a little bit, it was easier to start it in the middle and then work its way around. Okay, I'm sorry. I thought I lost my. I tapped the keyboard with the butt of the gun, and I thought I had lost the recording. Sorry about that. There we go. So we just about got all 6 of these on here. Now, while this did not have an upside and a downside, it does have words on it, and I just so happened to put it on so I can read the words across the top properly. So I'll just assume that's the right way to do that. Close enough. So now what I'm going to do is use the long arm of the tool to get these in a little tighter. Now, if you're really going to use this, if you're going to use this like for tree gun or something like that, I would recommend that you put like a medium Loctite on this. Since I'm just using this around the house and I haven't decided how much I like it yet or not, I'm going to leave it just snug and not worry about putting it in. Not worried about using any Loctite on it to keep it settled in. And I really do wish they would use a larger headed screw on these things, because this is a major pain in the ass trying to get this tool in that piloted in that little bitty hole. And my old eyes, I can barely see the you know, the six-sided hole to try to figure out how to get the tool in there. So, the major pain in the ass. Again, if you have I recommend if you have a, you know, a bit tool like this and you've got a bit that'll fit, use that instead, because this is too much of a pain in the butt. Okay. Okay. So I think we just about got it on here. I'll have to say I like the basic looks of it. It certainly doesn't give me any problem operating the firearm. I just check to make sure the action's working. Yeah, so everything's working, so that's good. We didn't jam it up. So now I think the only thing left is put some rounds in it and see how it holds them. So we'll see. They go in fairly tight, and this is estate, because it's just really cheap shit. Just some cheap estate buckshot, sort of high brass. And I like the way they fit. You know, they stop at the brass. They don't go down excessively deep. And you do get 6 of them. So I'm pretty happy with that. And doesn't move at all, doesn't rattle, doesn't make any noise. It's secure. You don't have to worry about Velcro or glue, getting glue all over the side of your gun and stuff. So overall, I'd say that's a pretty nifty little product. I think I like that a lot. So that was my Mossberg and the Tac Star. It's called a Side Saddle is the name of the this particular unit, and I think it works pretty well. And thanks a lot for watching, and have a great afternoon.